When a man dies with $0 in his bank account, his debts settled only by the sale of his threadbare coat, you do not expect an inheritance. He left his son exactly one item, a digital file sitting on a cracked pawnshop tablet. The title was simply New Note. Naturally, his son expected an apology, the kind of document a broken man types up to say he is sorry for a lifetime of empty cupboards and missed rent. It is a heavy thing to read your father's final confession of failure. The son spent 3 days staring at that screen, grieving a man who had never managed to catch a single break. Then, on the 4th day, he read the second paragraph again. Something did not fit. There was an offhand reference to a vault at the Geneva Continental. A man who could not afford bus fare does not have a safety deposit box at an offshore Swiss bank. Looking at this text against his father's timeline, the dates make 0 sense. The note mentions a trip in August 1999 when he was working triple shifts. The odd phrasing isn't poor grammar. Taking every 4th word reveals a string of numbers. They were coordinates. The coordinates proved that 30 years of public destitution had been an elaborate, necessary fiction. The hidden coordinates pointed directly to an abandoned industrial park on the far edge of the city. He went immediately. Beneath a rusted grate, there was a reinforced steel door with a biometric scanner. The security architecture alone was worth millions. He punched in the final sequence of numbers extracted from the file's metadata. The lock disengaged with a heavy, pressurized hiss. Inside were rows of server racks and a physical ledger. The documents detailed offshore accounts, a network of false aliases, and intercepted communications spanning 2 decades. The destitution they lived in was a shield. His father stayed entirely off the grid to keep his family invisible from the people searching for this exact fault. This diagram maps out the intelligence network he inherited. The server logs connect to dormant accounts in a dozen countries, effectively placing a ghost agency under the son's control. But those resources were stockpiled for a specific reason. The most recent file outlined a syndicate operation scheduled to execute within the month. As he slowly processed the massive scale of the surveillance, the son's perception of his childhood began to shift. The pity he had felt for his father's poverty was slowly replaced by the weight of a mission he was now expected to finish. He began backing up the servers and routing the offshore funds into clean accounts. He aggressively memorized the new target list. Decades of perceived failure were, in reality, a lifelong strategic sacrifice that provided the son with a level of global access few governments possess. Yet there was one final piece of the original document that remained stubbornly locked: the very last line. Running that string of characters through the vault's mainframe, the text aggressively cycles through encryption keys until it snaps into a physical street address. The translation provided a strict instruction: go to this address alone, tonight, to meet the contact listed only as architect. He arrived at the warehouse an hour later. He pushed the entrance wide, staring into a corridor completely swallowed by darkness. From somewhere deep inside the pitch-black room, a voice echoed against the concrete. "You have his eyes. We have been waiting for you." He took a single step inside, and the door slammed shut behind him.